Cy Brenner, born June 2, 1922, is an American ex-POW from World War II who has suffered from post-traumatic stress disorder since 1945. He has major concerns for soldiers of today not receiving appropriate care for post-traumatic stress disorder. This interview is, my main and first question is, have you run into anyone from the war since the war? If so, can you talk about it and tell us what happened?
Yes. I met 4 people after the war who I actually knew in the service. The first one was, oddly enough, my wife and I were coming out of the building in Detroit, the building of records where we got our marriage license. And a fellow walked up to me and said, "Geez, I thought you were dead." He was one of the men who was in my outfit who had the report that I got killed the night I was killed, supposed to have been killed, in November 29th, 1944.
Why did people think that you were killed?
Because I was near a house that was blown up by a Tiger tank, and witnesses saw my body go up in the air. Some reports were that they went up in the air 10 feet to 30 feet, and my body was never recovered because the Germans picked me up, and I was listed as missing in action, presumably dead.
There's another story behind this story about your mother who was back in Michigan when you were blown apart. Was it the same day?
Yes. The night I was hit, my mother had a heart attack, and as she fell to the floor, she said that there was something happened to me. Oddly enough, there was an article in the paper about that.
And what happened to her?
She recovered, and she went to work at a Jewish seminary and said she would work for free, cooking for the boys, until I came home. She didn't know I was dead, but they didn't know one way or another.
Okay. And then there's a story about how your family hid that sort of information from her when they thought you were.
Yes. When the telegram came and letters came, my sisters read the same letter over and over again to her as though nothing had happened to me. But getting back to the people who thought I was dead and I saw after the war, I was a medic, and on the battlefield one night, it was snowing very heavy, a sleet, and I covered the fellow with after I had taken care of him, I put my raincoat on him, and I said, when you go back to the aid station, tell them that it's Brenner's raincoat, and please return it to the front. And they told him to forget about it, that I was killed in action. And in 1948, I was dancing in a nightclub with my fiancée, Risa, whom I later married. He grabbed me by the shoulder and turned me around, and same thing. "Geez, I thought you were dead." And he told me that he returned the raincoat and that there was a letter to my folks in the pocket, and the letter was mailed. The third time was a fellow by the name of Nate Felsenfeld. I remember the name because this was in the newspapers, which he reported. He was walking through the lobby of the Statler Hotel in Detroit, and I was coming through the other way, and he saw me, and he almost lit his nose instead of his cigarette, as the newspaper reported, when he saw me, and told me that he thought I was dead. And the article went on about the story.
You mentioned there were 4 people. Is there another?
Yes, there was a 4th one, and I'm trying to think of where it was. Oh, it was one of the fellows who saw me before saw another one, and he came to my home to see me, and he thought I was dead.
Now, you've also written a book that's not yet published, but a lot of it has to do with what happened before, during the war, and after, and how some of these incidences, when people thought you were dead, realized you weren't.
Well, I call that The Night I Got Killed and What I Did Later.
Sounds great.
I hope that's going to be the title of the book. I finished the book, and it's in the process of being edited.
Wonderful. For more information about Cy's upcoming book, check out www.cybrenner.com. That's spelled SYBRENNER. Thank you, Cy.